In this video, we're going to edit a new file type. This is called a camera raw file. So oftentimes photographers will shoot in a way that captures the most amount of data that a camera can capture. And this is called a raw file. So we're going to go ahead and go to File, Open. We're going to locate the file that I have, this image 7355, and we're going to go ahead and open it and see what happens. All right, so this is the raw editor. So all of your adjustment settings are right here. So yesterday we learned about adjustment layers. Now those layers are just going to be right in here. Okay, so you've got your exposure, contrast, highlight, shadows, whites, blacks, texture, clarity, dehaze, all of that, vibrance, saturation is going to be right here. Okay, so what you can do is, I have already edited this photo, so I'm going to just default everything back to 0 really quick. So when you first open it, yours should, I'm guessing, should be all set to 0. Maybe not though. All right, we're going to hit the auto button and see what happens. Okay, so that's a little bright. So what we're going to do is come in here and you're going to edit this. You're going to bring down your exposure just a little bit. Maybe adjust some of these. Okay, remember you're using your creative eye to do this. We're not going all crazy just yet. Okay, so maybe something like that. What happens if I add texture to it? Okay, so you can kind of see. I want you to mess around with these sliders and see what happens when you adjust them. Okay, what happens when you adjust the clarity and bring it up and down? What does dehaze do? So dehaze is kind of like the contrast slider. Vibrance, you can adjust that. Don't go super crazy again. We're not getting all out of control just yet. All right, so that looks pretty good. When you get all of these sliders adjusted how you like, you're going to go ahead and hit open, and it's going to launch it into Photoshop. All right, so remember the first thing that you do is if it needs to be straightened or cropped, you're going to do that. So I'm going to go to my crop tool. I'm going to use my level right here, and I'm going to drag across the horizon or the line right out there. That looks pretty good. You want the ground to be in your lower 2/3 of your box. Okay, so this is called rule of thirds, right? So each one of these sections is a third of the image. Usually you want your horizon to sit either in the lower 2/3 or up here right at the 2/3 line. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and crop it, and that looks pretty good. Next thing we're going to do is get rid of these people. So yesterday we learned about the spot healing brush. We learned about the healing brush, and now we're going to learn about the patch tool. Okay, so we're going to click on the patch tool. Make sure that up here this is set to content aware. If it's set to normal, just drop down the arrow and hit content aware. We're going to leave the structure and the color set to 0. And what you're going to do is just draw a selection around the people. So you get your marching ants. And then what you're going to do is click and drag within that selection and just drag over just a little bit. It's okay if we get a little piece of that rock. It'll be fine. And then you're going to let go and let the magic happen. And Photoshop does its thing. It finds the pixels to fill in. And that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and deselect. So Control D to deselect. You can't even tell it was there. All right. So that is another way to heal things in your photographs. This is a really great tool for healing blemishes on skin and some spots as well. All right, so when you're all done editing in the raw format and straightening it out and getting rid of the people, you're going to go to Save, File, Save As, save it to your Photoshop file that you created yesterday, and you're going to name this, let me see, there is a specific name for it in the assignment. All right, so we're going to name this Aurora. So we're going to go to File, Save As, put it in your Student U Drive in your Photoshop file that you created yesterday, the Adjustment Layers folder. First initial, last name, Aurora, A-U-R-O-R-A. Save it as a Photoshop document or a PSD file. Save. And then you're going to export it. Go to File, export, we can do a quick export because we changed those settings yesterday. So we're just going to go to quick export as a PNG. It should save in the same location. Just check up here, make sure it says student U drive, and then your name, and then the Photoshop file. And make sure it's PNG, and it saves. And you're going to turn in the PNG file for Aurora, the PNG file for the red fort or red dirt, and the PSD files for both of those as well. This should say PSD. We'll go ahead and fix that. So you're going to turn all 4 of those files in here to Google Classroom. And I'm going to post a folder here with some additional images you can download, take a look at, and edit, see what you can do, see what you can fix. And the more you use these tools, the better you're going to get at them and the better your work will look. All right.